sis, you okay?
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Hey Sis, You Okay? I'm your host, Kye Robinson, and joining me is...
I'm Kelli Robinson.
Hey Sis, you okay?
Hanging in there. How about you, sis?
Same as you. Well, we're very excited we have such a special guest today with us, and we're so excited that they are joining us and sharing a little bit more about the work they do in the community, working with our Black girls around Pierce County. So we're very excited to welcome Amanda Scott Thomas. Woohoo! Thank you for joining us, Amanda.
Yes, thank you.
You are such a pillar in this community, and everywhere I go, I see you there. So it's just a great opportunity to have you on our podcast just to share a little bit more about the great work you're doing in the community. And the great work you are doing is with Community Aunties. So please tell us a little bit about Community Aunties.
Sure. Well, thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here. I am a fan of our sister's house, so it was a privilege to be asked to be on the show. Community Aunties is, we just received our nonprofit status, so that's exciting, but it really started out as an idea, a concept that really came actually in my prayer closet. I am, as you know, in community a lot with my work with Tacoma Public Schools as the director of the partnership office. So I am surrounded by community people doing such powerful, wonderful work all the time. And especially amongst the Black women here in the Tacoma community, I was kind of looking at my network and was like, wow, they're doing so many great things. I want to be able to do something that I love, something that would have an impact, and something that would support Black girls, because and Black and brown girls, because it's really close to my heart being a Black and brown girl. Originally from California, but raised in this community where there's less diversity and less affirmation. And so it was something that kind of dropped into my lap. After praying about that, probably a few weeks later, I had an opportunity to go to a pageant because one of my little mentees, she was around 8 years old at the time. Her big sister was participating in the Miss Washington organization out in Kitsap County in her first pageant, and she had her little sister, which was my little mentee, as her princess. And so of course we make a big deal about everything. It was her debut on stage with her crown, and so I brought flowers, and I was in the audience, and I noticed that there was a lot of scholarship money being given away that night or being earned by these girls, but there wasn't a lot of representation. So I was like, this would be something that I think Black and brown girls would really thrive in, have a neat experience in. But it's expensive. So I started doing a little research and found out about, access and barriers to access. And so I actually kind of harangued two young ladies that I knew. I called their moms and were like, hey, talk to your daughter. I want to have two girls try out and participate in a pageant. And I actually called several people, but there were two women that I knew that got their daughters to agree. And they were like, Auntie Amanda, we don't know about this. I'm like, just come to the orientation, check it out. And so I had two young ladies participate in Miss Pierce County. They had never done pageants before. One was a plus size girl. I remember we went to the orientation and they were really, really kind of like, I don't know about this, Auntie Amanda. I'm not sure if this is my vibe. I'm like, representation matters. Yeah. Right. Try it out. You might like it. And let's just see. If you don't, no pressure. But if you want to back out at any time, they were like, we'll do it for you. So they went through the process, and one young lady, they both walked away with scholarship money. But one young lady, and it was the plus size young lady, she ended up winning first runner-up. And got her, I think it was the first $1,000 or $1,500 in scholarship. So she was like, I kind of like this. Right. And she did really well. The judges loved her. So she went on to compete in a couple of more. And what I did around Community Aunties was support her. But I started calling women in my network and said, hey, we have this young lady that we need to pay for fees. We need to pay for dresses. And so it was really like coalescing resources to be able to support her to do more pageants. She ended up placing in several other pageants. We raised enough money to purchase a title, because if you don't win a title, then you can compete at state, but you have to purchase your own title to represent your community. And so a couple people were like, it's her first year. You might want to wait for her to, do a state pageant, but she wanted to do it, and she had her aunties behind her and were like, let's do it. So she ended up going to state, got to top 5, and actually came in second runner-up. By the time she was done in her first year of pageantry, she had gained or earned over about $4,000 to $6,000 in scholarship money. And so she talks about it changing her life as far as expanding her worldview. It was a personal and professional development opportunity, and the rest is history. So once we got a little taste of pageantry and what it could do for girls, it was like, let's get more girls involved. And Community Aunties was kind of born from there. Yeah.
I love it. I've been following you all, and you specifically on Facebook for a while, so I am really excited about all the work you're doing now that you're a 501c3.
Yes, congratulations.
That's awesome.
That's really awesome. What a beautiful story.
That's exciting.
Yes, that's a beautiful story.
So the name Community Aunties is so specific. It's what is it about the role of the auntie that you wanted to center?
Well, I think Community Aunties is not like an original coin that or term that I coined. It's something that's kind of a reality in most Black communities, most communities of color. You have extended family. So, and I think really it came from, I think Africans and African Americans are communal people. So I think it's naturally in us, but also because of slavery, you had chosen family. You were torn away from family. So family that you may have not been blood related to became your family. And so in our communities, I think through the generations, we had connections with people in our community that were like family, chosen family. I also was blessed to have 3 fabulous aunties that were hugely different in their personalities, but they all shaped me in becoming the woman that I am. So I've always valued aunties, and then growing up in the Bay Area, California, a close-knit Black community, it was very common to call someone that was not related to you auntie, because you just had that relationship and knew that would be a support person for you. So Community Aunties is exactly what it sounds like. The tagline is many hands make light work. My former First Lady, Oprah Robertson, used to say that all the time, and it was about the power of when people come together, burdens are lighter, and we can do great things together.
Awesome. I love that.
Thank you.
I remember I grew up with some community aunties as well, so it really does. It really is a culturally specific kind of term and access that you are bringing to those girls. Have not only are they being served by women who look like them, but who can also relate to the experiences as well. So that's really beautiful.
And it's also a form of respect too.
Yes.
Instead of them calling you by your first name and then it's respect, and it's also familiarity, because you don't want to always just be Miss. It feels comforting that they're calling you auntie, and then they can rely on you as that auntie. So I see all kind of wonderful things happening around that title.
Definitely. And I think that is cultural, the whole teaching of respect. I'm old school like that, so I may be older or younger than some of the girls' mothers, but it's Auntie Manda or Miss Manda, and that's kind of how we teach them. And me, as a 50-something-year-old woman, if there's an elder woman in my community, I don't call them by their first name.
Exactly. We do not.
Auntie or Miss. That's kind of what we do.
Exactly.
Well, Amanda, I had a glimpse of seeing the Miss Juneteenth pageant, and I once again want to thank you for allowing me to be a part of that. And it was such an amazing pageant, and the program itself says it's designed to, celebrate and acknowledge unapologetically Black girls. Can you share a little bit more of how the program is designed and how you guys really make sure that Black girls be themselves and show who they are?
So I did talk a little bit about the beginning of my entry into the world of pageantry happened with the Miss Washington Scholarship Organization. Wonderful organization, has been around for, I think Pierce County just celebrated its 100th year. So they've been doing great work. But I did see, again, there's a lack of diversity there. They're making great strides. They really want more diverse participation, but it is a model that is kind of like suited for a particular type of girl. Anybody can try out, but you do have kind of like, they have their model. And so I took the best of their model and created our own. And so I tell the story how Miss Juneteenth happened. We still love and participate and engage in Miss Washington Scholarship Organization and the local pageants, and because there's something for everyone. But when it came to something for our girls, I was getting some feedback in community that, hey, we want to invest in like a program for us, by us. Right. And so JD Davis approached me. He's the founder of the Road to Economic Freedom, the big Juneteenth celebration, largest in our state. And I had been doing research on the Afro pageants, which was something that was established in Tacoma in the 1970s. Interestingly enough, it was one black man and 4 black women, and the gentleman, his name Rock Thomas, he actually worked for Tacoma Public Schools and got together with some other black women in the community and created the Tacoma Afro pageant program. And so there are Afro princesses from the 1970s in our community still. Okay. And so I did a Facebook post, and they were emailing me from all over the country and talked about how much they enjoyed the program, how it impacted their lives, how they're still connected. Our former mayor Woodards was the queen mother over different classes, because it had representation of all the high schools in Tacoma. And so we're like, okay, I want to revive the Afro pageant. Right around that time, JD approached me and be like, hey, we're doing this Juneteenth festival, and what do you think about, I see the work you're doing with pageantry, what do you think about a Miss Juneteenth? I was like, perfect timing. This would be a great way to revive the Afro pageant. We could do it under the auspices of Miss Juneteenth and create that experience for black girls. So when we say unapologetically black girls, this is our pageant. It's for them. And so it doesn't have some of the traditions and some of the rules around pageantry that maybe the mainstream does. For instance, one good example, in their pageants, when the audience is there, there's kind of like rules around how to cheer. There's quiet, it's a little, ours call and response. So when you see our girls, we are hooting and hollering. Like we're making noise for them, we're affirming them. So it's a little bit different vibe, right? And then they get to, natural hair is embraced, their personal style. They just come as they are, and we affirm them. And that's what it's all about. And so we created Miss Juneteenth. We just finished our 4th year, and thank you so much for volunteering. It takes a huge effort of volunteers, but we have a group of OG aunties that started it out those 4 years ago, and it's grown ever since. So this year we had 11 young ladies. We crowned our 4th queen. We've taken a young lady last year, Darion Crocklem, to Miss Juneteenth Nationals in Galveston, Texas. Got to do a tour, see where Juneteenth took place. Went to an HBCU, had that experience. And I tell everybody, I made the biggest mistake, but it wasn't a mistake, it's a blessing. I let her enter in Miss Pierce County's teen, thinking that, we'll just get some more scholarship money. You'll probably come in 2nd runner-up, 1st runner-up, continue to be our queen. She went in there and won it. And so they stole my queen. That's what I tell everybody. They stole my queen. So she had to relinquish her title, and her 1st runner-up, Chloe Dix, she came and assumed the title, finished out the year for us beautifully. But now Darion is going to be competing at Washington State for Miss Washington State's teen. And she credits her mom with getting her into pageantry, but also the community aunties for relighting that fire, getting her back involved in Miss Juneteenth, because she won it. She was a beautiful queen, represented us so well. We had a great time in Galveston, Texas, and we're going to be rooting her on actually next Monday through Wednesday. Her finals are next Wednesday, so we'll be going up to Olympia to cheer her on. She would be the first full Black or African American teen to win Miss Washington's teen if she wins, and then she would compete in Miss America's teen and be flown down to Florida in September to compete. So it's exciting.
That's very exciting and awesome.
Will you be involved in all of that too?
So I'm always community auntie. So I'm always there in the background. We're there, her support system. One of the aunties is her makeup sponsor, and so we're still always going to be connected. If she wins, I hope to be a part of her stylist team because it's something I love to do. But we'll always be connected. And if she does go down to Florida, the aunties will be there. We are ready to roll out. Do you hear me? So yeah, we'll always stay connected. But all these girls have just done great things. The young lady I started with that I told you about, Zariah, that was the first plus size one that went to state and won second runner-up. She is now entering her senior year at Pacific Lutheran University. Just came back from the West Indies. She did a semester abroad in Trinidad and Tobago. And so just the things that happen with these girls when they stretch themselves, do things that they didn't think that they would want to do, it can change your trajectory, and that's what it's all about. So some girls love pageantry, some girls try it, not so much, but the idea that you went out there, you did something that, a lot of girls don't do or haven't had the opportunity to do, I think it makes a difference. It stretches them.
It does, it does. And witnessing the Miss Juneteenth pageant, I was like, I don't think I would have the confidence at that age to get on a stage, do a talent, answer some questions, do an evening wear dress. It takes so much confidence for them to get up on that stage and be judged, in a sense. So it really is such an amazing program, and celebrating Black girls, it was just awesome to see. So
I will tell you, we had one young lady last year who is so shy. She cried after her interview. She cried during her talent. It was like these little meltdowns that she had, but she kept going and she participated in the pageant. She had the community auntie support, but she had the girls around her that really encouraged her, helped her with her hair. She did well. She got scholarship. All of our girls that participate, we raise enough money for everybody to walk away with some scholarship money, but she came back again. So she was on the stage this year, and she brought her sister with her, so they both did the pageant. So it's just kind of really cool to see girls that, like, again, afraid, like, and she was still nervous. It wasn't like she was like blah blah, but she, she pushed herself, kept pushing herself, and said she'll be back again next year. So she was one of the younger ones. She keeps coming back, bringing folks with her. But she definitely stretched herself and grew. So it's something beautiful to see. All the girls have a very unique experience, but it's one of the reasons I love it so much.
So tell us about you, Amanda. How did you get into this? Who shaped and formed you? Just tell us a little bit more about you personally.
So I will tell you, for me, I can't move on with the story without saying that the young lady that I did participate, I showed up for my little mentee, her name is Adea. Her mother passed away. And so it was shortly after, it was during her first year of really pageantry. And her mom passed away she had a blood clot. She was 43 years old.
Wow.
And so I actually kind of like really what motivated me to really stay involved in pageantry and kind of move it further was Adea, because I wanted her to be able to stay involved in pageantry. It's something her mother loved her to do, and I wanted her to have some normalcy. And so that's kind of what started me keeping it going, for her to have that opportunity. So I took those two teenagers, but I also took little girls. And so about me, I would say that public service is kind of a lifestyle for me. I've always worked in public community kind of spaces. My background, I went to Evergreen State College, Tacoma campus. Go Gooey Ducks. Sankofa forever. Graduated from the Tacoma campus in 2009 and entered to learn, departed to serve. So I've always been community minded. I lived in Arizona for 6 years, worked for United Way, and worked for the governor's office there. I was a policy advisor for Governor Janet Napolitano, and then came back to Washington State and started working for schools at Washington. I did after school policy. I was their education policy director for a couple of years, and then got recruited to Tacoma Public Schools. And so my career has been always community focused, community based, youth development, positive youth development. So it's what I love, but it doesn't feel like work for me. Being in community, supporting young people, creating opportunities. I'm blessed to work for Tacoma Public Schools for 14 years in the partnership mentorship office, establishing partnerships and supports for student success. And a lot of my work has to do with family and community engagement, so ways that we can get family and community involved in supporting students so that they do well. So it's really been a lifestyle of public service, of community, and building community. And also, because I was a teen mom, I married very young, military. I was pregnant my senior year of high school, thought I was in love. Don't do it, ladies. Don't do it. 19, didn't know anything, but got married very young, got divorced very young, struggled for lots of years. And so really, if I'm really transparent and honest, what this Community Aunties does for me, and working with youth helps me be a mother again, because I was a survivor parent, and so I wasn't able to do a lot of the things that I'm doing now. And so I'm able to really pour myself into community and young people because I wasn't able to do that as a young mother. So it's really kind of being able to feed that part of me. And so, yeah, that's a little bit about me. Married for, was it going to be 22 years this year?
Congratulations.
That second husband was thank you, Jesus. That was the one. And he's a pastor.
Yes,
so
pastor's wife.
I'm a pastor's wife. Yes, first lady.
First lady.
It's not in the Bible. But I'm his wife, and I love my church family. And so, yeah, I get to serve in many, many different ways. But yeah, that's a little bit about me.
Thank you for sharing that. I just learned a lot. But the one thing that you do every year that I love is watching you at the graduations, cheering those kids on. I don't know if you were there the year Dakota graduated from Stadium, but I watched the just to see you cheering those. That is just so special, because you think public school, nobody really cares. The kids are just a number, but no, you are at every graduation. Cheering those kids on, saying how proud you are, and I just actually love that.
I have to give props to Tanisha Jumper. She is the chief communications officer of Tacoma Public Schools, and it was her idea. She knows where I shine the best. And our superintendent, Josh Garcia, he lets me do it, and so they put me out and made me. So the Tacoma Public Schools, the media team years ago coined this term. One of the ladies called me Tacopra because she knows I have a thing for Oprah. I'm like, I am the Oprah of Tacoma. She was like, Tacopra, I will take it. So they put Tacopra, they gave me a microphone and had me go out. And so at graduations, I get to interview families and students, and it is the best time. And so they gave me a partner this year. I have Megan Clark, who's another fabulous community person. And so her and I get to do that together, and we joked that I'm Tacopra and she is Megan Jessie Raphael. So we are in these Tacoma streets.
Yes, y'all are.
But we have a good time. But it is one of my favorite times of year.
You guys do an amazing job.
Thank you.
I think that's so unique and special.
It's fun.
Yep.
Well,
Good.
Also, Amanda, I just want to say thank you for sharing your story. It's very beautiful and speaks a lot to your character, but also to hear you instilled some community work in her as well.
Thank you.
Just the great work she's doing here at OSH.
She wants to be me. She's in denial, but that is my daughter.
Yes. Amanda, if any young girls that are listening right now, or any girls that went through the Miss Juneteenth pageant, what would you want to say to them?
Man, what would I want to say to a young lady? I would probably want to say to them what was said to me by wonderful women in my community, is that you can do anything. You can change the world if you believe it, right? And so that's one of the things that I was so moved by when I went to Miss America. I've been twice, and I was in a room full of state title holders, and I was like, these women really believed. Somebody told them that they could change the world, and they believed it. And they didn't win Miss America, but they went on to do great things in their states, in their communities. And our young ladies have that same potential. Every young lady does. And so I would tell the young ladies that you absolutely can change the world. Whatever you dream, whatever you vision for yourself, you can do it. And you have a beautiful community of aunties and people behind you. If you just look for them, that will support you getting you to where you want to go. So we're here for you, and you can do anything that your heart desires.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, it is. And to piggyback off that, what would you want the girls who have gone through the Juneteenth process? What would you say to them right now? They were listening.
I would tell them that, like, thank you. We knew you could do it. You are all winners. Anybody that crossed that stage could have been crowned queen, and it would have been a beautiful thing, a beautiful year. And to also know that we'll always be connected. Your community aunties are here for you no matter where you go. We're sending care packages to some of our formers that are leaving the state, going to HBCUs and other places. But community aunties, an auntie is forever. And so that's what I would say to them, is that we're here for you. Whatever journey you take, your ups, downs, highs and lows, we're family, and we got you.
Awesome. Amanda, what's next for Community Aunties?
Oh, we're taking a break. Auntie is tired. So we've got Darion competing next week, yes. And then we crowned our lyric Divine Alexander. Yes. You saw her on stage. And so we have a year of service with her. And so she is available for public appearance requests. So we're taking her to, all over the state of Washington representing Miss Juneteenth. We're looking at nationals this year, which is going to be held, I think, in Alabama. Wow. And so we may be taking her there to compete on a national level for Miss Juneteenth. And so, yeah, we're relaxing, relating, and releasing a little bit during the summer months, and then we'll pick it back up. Because of this year's experience, we're definitely going to be starting a little bit earlier with the planning, but we have new aunties on board and lots of good stuff happening. So we'll just kind of continue what we've been doing. I'm looking at different partnership opportunities, so that there might be some things that might be introduced that are new with the aunties. But yeah, aunties, the community aunties is more than pageantry. It's really about supporting young people in our community and different ways that we can do that. Right. So you'll see it looking all sorts of ways. But community aunties we're auntying. We're definitely auntying.
Yeah. Well, we're excited.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And our sister's house wants to know, how can we partner? How can we support? We love the work. We've been on the sidelines kind of looking about how can we get involved. So yeah, let us know. What can we do?
Well, you already engaged. You've always been supportive, showed up when we needed folks to volunteer, help us to spread the word. Okay. Your clients as well, any daughters or young, send them our way. Okay. We again love to wrap our arms around young ladies, and we have them in all different sorts of situations. Okay. And even if they're going through a hard period in their lives, it might be a great opportunity to get some external support, a different experience, feel beautiful, feel supported in a different way. So we can talk. There's lots of ways to get involved, and we're always recruiting volunteers and aunties to support young women. So you can check out the website, www.communityaunties.org, see all the great things that we've done, and get connected with us.
Okay.
Will do. Well, thank you so much, Amanda, for joining us today. Just a wonderful resource and a great conversation we had, and very excited for what's next for Community Aunties, and wishing Darion great success next week. We will be cheering them on.
Yes.
All right, OSH side, make sure you're staying connected to our newsletter. For the month of July, every Wednesday and Friday, we will be at the Bryant Neighborhood Center from 5 to 8 doing late nights. Woohoo! So come and hang out, come join. Free food, just free games. It's going to be a wonderful time every Wednesday and Friday in July. And make sure you are signed up for our Save the Date for our gala on December 6th. Woohoo! That is a Sunday, so we will see you on that Sunday. More information to come, but please stay connected to our newsletter. Thank you all so much. We'll see you next time.
Hey sis, you okay?